do have in the bottom right-hand side our blue Zerg player. This is soO. In the top left, our red Terran player is Maru. So first game of the best of 5. So where we go and get this started. Look to see what will happen. Maru soO best of 5 TvZ then. We get into this and see what's going to happen. So Rax Gas coming down. As we set this up, we get this underway. Sorry, I'm just trying to double check with the admins. We are allowed to be in game right now because obviously the official casters disappeared and stuff. So the official casters have just disappeared. Because I'm not the official caster, I'm just a community caster. Hi. But the official casters have just gone. The French stream has just gone offline. Alright, Overlord on the swip the left hand side. Reaper on the way out as we see Hatch, Gas and Pool getting started here. A couple of drones on the way up as well. Again, just Overlords moving around. So nothing too crazy. Maru not opening proxy or anything like that. We'll see what Maru wants to play in general. He did switch to a lot of mech play, obviously, after the first game against Armani. We'll see if he does mix in any. I'd imagine throughout a best of 5, at some point he will at least do bio, at least once or at least on one map. As you do see the SCV continuing down to the lower right. I imagine this is a good map for mech, so if Maru is going to play mech, it's not a bad one to do it on. And he is going for the starport because he's got the second gas just starting, so probably towards starport. And again, the only build we've seen him do all day outside of the 3cc, when he gets to starport, he goes Tech Lab, he goes Fusion Core, he goes Battle Cruiser. So here we go. As the barracks dropping down a reactor. And in the main base, this Reaper hopping around, going after some Zerglings. So things taking some shots. Drone is just not going to drop down. Grenade is going to get bopped up. And the Reaper is going to escape up to the top side. So Reaper escapes out into the center of the map here. As we do see the starport on the way from Maru. Just getting the starport up and running. Command Center morphing into an orbital on the Natra on the Reaper. Coming out around to the right side as well. So they're going to continue. That's going to continue down towards the main base here. These few Zerglings just patrolling, and as the Reaper hops up, the Reaper takes some damage and has to hop back down. So again, starport coming up to completion in a moment or two. Third hatchery from soO. About to complete. Yeah, let's see. Starport's completing Tech Lab, Fusion Core. Okay. So Maru's just going to show some more Battlecruiser openings. Now, what's going to be interesting is, against Armani, we only really saw one Battlecruiser opening really develop to the mid-game and kind of continue from there. I really think in this series, we're probably going to see the Battlecruisers at least get through to the mid-game a lot more often with soO on board. So, yeah, here we go with the couple of Hellions and the Reaper heading out into the center, and yeah, I don't know, like, it just feels like we might see, even though, like, I'm saying, like, no, not the BCs again. We did have a pretty cool game in the final game of Armani Maru when Maru got into the macro game and Armani survived that long. This time around with soO, I just imagine more games will look like that as Maru plays mech here this time around. Battlecruiser starts up as you do have the Roach starting as well, and the natural expansion layer is on the way in the main base. So just making a play towards it. It's going to be Roaches initially. I think soO just has an inkling as to what this might be. Just playing like a Roach-based early game. He's not going to go aggressive or anything. He's going up towards 50 workers already, so it's already too late for like a Nidus attack. It's already too many drones for that. So soO's just going to meet this head on in a macro game. We'll see what happens there. As we do have the Hellions of Maru out into the middle of the map. 2 more factories starting. Again, we expect this to be mech when it's battle cruisers. The thing is, if you go battle cruisers and you try and go bio, it delays your racks a lot, right? So then it makes you, then it puts you into a bit of a tough spot. Do you see those few Hellions and the Reaper of Maru out over the left-hand side and pressing forwards? Trying to go in towards this little bit of creep here. Do you see these drones down on the bottom? And they're going to start getting roasted as well, so quite a few drones starting to go down already. 5 workers picked off as you do see Maru pushed away up that left-hand side again. The roaches, the queens coming across, and that is going to be Maru. Turned away right there. It's a job well done. Spy on the way up on the natural expansion. We do have the Hellions of Maru. Around the right side, the roaches getting into position, and the BC still pressing forwards as well. So, Mountain Crews are trying to get in. These Hellions are back out into the middle of the map, and an orbital command dropping down on the third base. We do have Yamato cannons researching. So this BC is going to be online, properly operational soon. Good defense so far by soO, right? And that's the big difference. He's able to defend up until this point. He's not taking too much damage. Even he gets a good pull away against those Hellions. And those Hellions, oh, they are going to find the magical shot. I can't believe it. I thought the Roaches had the kill to stop it being one-shotable. And now, they're actually going to get another shot off. No, soO. Well, that's a caster curse if I've ever made one. Talking about how great he's defending. And then he's pretty much defended the Hellions. And then 3 more volleys, kill 14 drones. This went from such a perfect opening from soO into Maru. Suddenly is in a great spot. Great amount of workers killed. The thing is as well, Maru can afford to throw those Hellions away because it's mech. I always say this. It's very important to remember. You can be more kind of, expendable with the Hellions. You can throw those away more often. You can give them up more often, right? So those Hellions, you don't have to keep them alive to keep map control because you've got more building. And for 14 drones, it was absolutely, initially it looked like it was a waste, but then you get the 14 drones and boom, puts himself into a good position. These drone Hellions getting as well. There's 1 drone dead. That should be about it, right? So that's pretty much all that she wrote. Maybe, oh wow, even that one got a couple more. Just feels like these Hellions are really not allowing soO to do anything right now. As you see the BCs. Well, they're just going to start teleporting away. They don't have Yamato yet, so this one will drop a Yamato, then teleports, and it will just get out. Again, it's pretty close with that 1 second teleport away now. It's when you're already taking damage when you're firing the Yamato, and then you've got to teleport as well. You just take those few extra volleys that really make the difference towards almost getting the kill. But obviously, the Terran players know, okay, well, I've got to get it off and then teleport. They know they can do it, otherwise they wouldn't be doing it. They wouldn't be losing their BCs like that. 5 SCV is down. A couple more siege tanks will set themselves up here. The Preppers are looking for something. He will force the third base to lift off. A few SCVs going down, as I mentioned. It's a decent little push forwards here from soO. The problem is these roaches, if they go any deeper, there's such an enormous amount of tanks here. You can just see soO is getting blown up as we speak. I mean, these DCs as well, they just kind of turn around, drops a Yamato. I mean, 3 of them together, they're good. He's just pulling the damage one back. He needs to repair the orbital, though. Doesn't want to let that go down, right? So he needs to be a little bit careful, but it's enough. And there's only a few throws of battles left. These BCs still just sat waiting to try and do a bit of whatever they can. Does take a couple of shots of bile. It's good pressure from soO, but it's pressure that's not really going anywhere. It's losing him units, and now he starts +1/+1 upgrades. But where's the rest of the tech tree? It's still just Roach Ravager Corruptor, and that's my biggest issue here. That he's putting on good pressure, but not putting himself into any other stage of the game. There we go. Swarm Host on the way. Infestation Pit obviously has come down at some point. Good scan. Sees the Infestation Pit, and no Hive started. So really good scan for Maru. Because all of a sudden, Maru now knows, okay, well, you've got an Infestation Pit, but if you're not building Hive, what's the other options? 9 times out of 10, probably Swarm Host here. So Maru starts Infernal Pre-Igniter in response to that scan and that scout. And now he just sets himself up to deal with this. And obviously at the same time moving to 4 bases. It just feels like, these are really late Swarm Hosts. These are Swarm Hosts that are going to fire their first volleys at about 10 minutes into the game. And that's so late for them to start trying to find damage. The earlier you get the Swarm Hosts up, the less there is for the Terran player. Maybe if this game was delayed a little bit early, something happened, but nothing really happened to slow Maru down, right? So Maru is 10 minutes into his game. And at that point, again, it's really crazy that you can be starting to use Swarm Host because, again, you've kind of missed 2 to 3 minutes of when Swarm Host should have been out and already dealing damage. And Swarm Hosts rely, Swarm Hosts don't die. They rely on getting as many volleys of 3 units off as possible. So that not happening is obviously a big issue. There's quite a few drones going down at the moment. There's quite a few drones being picked off so far. There's 12 workers killed across the map. There's going to be seeing the Locust coming in. A couple of tanks going down. So tanks still firing here. The Hellions able to pick up a couple more Locusts. More tanks sieging up as well. And these Swarm Hosts from soO setting up in the center. So Corruptors, Swarm Hosts, all in the middle of the map now. Looking to push up towards this top side. 3 Thors on the way. Battlecruiser building as well. Plus 2 vehicle weapons and plating coming up. 2 Spine Crawlers on the way out. And just going to see a couple more Yamatos dropping down. Corruptor getting picked off here. It's going to be another Corruptor getting taken down. Again, just the BC's picking up damage. I'm not feeling good for soO. I mean, here we go. The Locust going to make a move forwards. Here we go. Hallion's going to morph into Halbats and, well, yeah. What did the Locust do here? They killed maybe 1 tank, I think. It's kind of hard to see underneath, right? But they just didn't do much at all. As you can see, the Ravager Corruptor going to try and change directions a little bit. Tanks seeking up, the Thor's fighting forwards as well. The BC's up in the skies. I mean, they just make the big attack this time around. He just commits into it, and well, there goes the Swarm Host firing some Locusts. The BC's just going after Swarm Host at this point as well. I mean, the tanks and the Thors get cleaned out on the right side here. Another BC going down. Altogether, this maybe wasn't so bad for soO. As he starts to rebuild a little bit. He lost a lot as well, though, right? He lost 10 of the Swarm Hosts. He lost a bunch of Corruptors. Just resets the tech of Maru that little bit. I mean, especially the BC camp being taken down quite heavily. I feel that's very important. There's also only a couple of tanks left over on the left-hand side as well. So you kind of have to be a bit afraid of that over there as well, right? Really tough scenarios. That's an instant cancel for Maru in the top right. I love this. He's built an orbital, command says in position. That's so funny. I kind of find it funny the Corruptors cancelled their spray as well. Oh no, I guess he started building a new one. That's funny. He kept some caustic sprays available though, so he'll be able to cancel it a second time round. I was very confused. I was like, wait, but he did cancel. But it was back. My brain just being a bit slow to pick up on the rebuild. Great Aspire. Drops in from soO on the natural, so... Well, soO is still kicking. It was kind of the end of that fight I kind of liked a bit more for soO, right? Because initially felt like not much was going on, but then he did get a couple more BC kills, and, he did clean up the tank Thor line. There's the BCs. They're just going to teleport away immediately, basically. These Locusts are going to drop down, and, well, they get a siege tank, right? And, I'm not going to say a siege tank isn't valuable, but when you're committing this much supply, that's the issue, right? Yes, it's a free pickoff, but it's still 20 army supply that's picking off a siege tank every every 45 seconds. That's not really... So basically, after like, 7-8 minutes, it's finally picked off the same amount of supply as what it costs, and that's the issue. The Swarm Hosts are taking so long to pay off for themselves. I'm just still not convinced about it. I mean, I get it, okay, they also kind of soak damage in fights as well. It's more than what they just pick off here and there, but that's why I've really liked this from Maru, because it still feels as though soO isn't making much happen. Now, this is much better, right? You get down, you force a lift off, you get some SCVs, turrets. This is a bit more successful. You actually deny Maru from getting into the game a bit, as Maru this time does build and finish the CC in the top right corner. Tank, Thor, Halbat, and Battlecruiser moving down the right side. A couple of Creep Tumors picked off. The Hellions from Maru look as though they're going to go diving by in towards the mineral line over here, so they're trying to pick up some damage as well. So all of these tanks are going to start sieging up. We're going to have a couple of Yamatos fired away, and well, there's one Battlecruiser going down. Now another BC lining up a shot, and boom, gets another Corruptor. The Locusts making their way into this. The Roach Ravager from the left-hand side. There's a lot of tanks here. The Locusts really don't last very long. Gets rid of the Thors. There's still a lot of siege tanks, however. That might be the bigger issue. soO, this right-hand side base looks as though it'll drop. Maru cleans that out. Maru's economy, by the way, just insane as he takes all these bases. Worth looking at the 82 worker count against the 63 of soO. And sure, soO just dropped down a few workers, but And that's pretty interesting as well, because obviously, you know, when you look at the resources lost here, it's even. So Maru's mining that much more. It means that soO's really in an uphill battle because he's not going to be able to rebuild forever. That's a nice catch, though, catching these tanks as they unsiege to back away. Hellbats will do their job of protecting against the Lings, and it looks as though it's only Hellbats lost. As Maru gets to the high ground, we'll begin to siege against it. But now Broodlords show up. Well, the Thors definitely help against those Broodlords, so they start to drop on down into this. So you see some of the Locusts on the left-hand side, so this is a big bit of momentum all of a sudden. The Locusts have to be cleaned up first, then you can maybe try and get in range to kill the Broods. You can see one or two of the Thors already putting the damage out. One Broodlord down. Planetary Fortress helping to hold the position, and the BC is just eager to dive on any opportunity. Fortunately, the creep spread is right up here from soO, so you can get onto that and bring the Queens away quickly and keep those alive, because their transfusions are invaluable in these upcoming fights. On the left side of Yamato as well, just picking off a couple more Swarm Horrors. Anything you can find to fire on, right, is kind of worthwhile. As I don't like that from the Corruptors. They get a Battlecruiser, but it costs them so many Corruptors. These tanks are kind of out in the middle, as we do see the Broodlords making some pickoffs. And what is going on? There's actually a crazy continued skirmish, which has just been going on for an eternity right now. You'll see this army of Maru has to back up to the high ground again as he was getting very aggressive pushing forwards. VCs are being chased, corrosive files dropping down all over the place. The Thors are still fighting, and the Broodlord count is down to 4 and still dropping as well. The last little bit of Roach Ravage is being turned away. The BCs can come back into the fight because the Corruptors are gone, and now Maru can chase down those Broodlords, but I don't think he has any way to get on top of them. He can teleport in, but that would be a little bit too dangerous perhaps, as we're going to see the Corruptors, the Broodlords, continue to set up here. Queens in the center, backing away as well, as they're going to come forwards. The BC is still firing. Still pushing forwards into this again. Hellbats morphing in. We do see more Thors still on the way out. 6 Corruptors, 12 Roaches, 4 Broodlords. All of this building up right now as Maru comes over to this right-hand side. The Creep Jim is going to start going down as well, continue to go down. I mean, this is now really getting aggressive this time, right? It's been a little while since we've seen him properly pushing towards the base of soO, but to start to back away, the Locusts are coming towards here. He might just want to knock fight the Locusts. As they drop down, they'll probably get close to a Thor kill. The Roaches don't quite find the way to finish that off. And I think Maru has the momentum to keep pushing forwards. Now those swarms, so it's not that much, many of them, but still about 20 supply of just dead weight on the ground. That isn't really going to add much to this at all. As Maru pushes straight in, it looks as though this hatchery is going down. That's another base that soO won't mine from. And soO is so desperate for gas especially. At this stage, main base has what, about 100 gas left. Natural has about 300 gas left. So he's really running out of gas income. And these external bases being picked off, that's basically meaning he just can't keep rebuilding the units which he needs to get into play here. The Thors taking a fight. They're not really supported by much. The tank out of range. The Thors on their own don't really trade amazingly, so soO might clean this up. But going on from here, what's soO going to be able to do? Teleports away with the BCs. Maru keeps those alive. soO down to 29 workers. The last couple Thors will go down. soO defends this position, but it comes at a huge cost. He's down 60 workers. And yes, he's up a slight amount of army supply. That just means he has to go across the map and end this game now. He cannot afford to let this game go on another minute even, because if he does, the production from Maru is going to kick in. I mean, honestly, even if soO counterattacks, what's he going to do? He's going to hit a planetary fortress, maybe clean out one planetary, and then Maru's going to have more units up anyways. You know, he's got planetaries and mining all over the map, and that's the issue. When you've just got to make one attack to end the game, you kind of have to just dive straight in towards the production line almost and take a fight over there, and then stop any more units coming up. Maru just has so much map that I just don't think there's any way back into this for soO, even with a bit of a larger army for the next couple of moments. Here we go. Locusts are going to try to take this planetary down, but there's already Hellions over here. They do nothing at all. And that, again, is the only attempt that soO will make. It looks like soO maybe thinks... I don't know what soO thinks, actually. I mean, he knows all of these bases are up. He must know he's not really killed any workers of Maru. I think he just is hoping that maybe he can just has a bit more time to build up, then take another fight. Maybe he's just hoping that Maru maybe makes another push like the last one. He can get another good clean and then go. It's tough though, right? He tails off this space, so soO loses that again. Not that he really had the drones to utilize it. Broodlords start to come into play again. It's pretty heavy on the Thor count here, and the Broodlords make that difficult to then utilize because the Thor's attacking Broodlings instead of Roach Ravager. Obviously don't clean up very much, as we're going to be seeing the extra Locusts flying in, and these Thors, they might get cleaned out, honestly, and I think when I say they might, they will. Thor on the top side will make work of a few roaches before it goes down at the very least. This tank on the low ground might get one more roach as well. It's target firing the Ravager, unfortunately. Again, soO takes a bit of an army supply lead, or he maintains what is being about a 30 army supply lead. It's not good trades from Maru, really. It's 37k resources lost each still. But Maru could take better fights, it's just he doesn't need to because he knows he's rebuilding, he knows soO has no economy, and by attacking he puts the pressure on soO to keep making units to never reset that economy back up into play either. There's a Thor army. Starts to move forward, see the Locusts jump up into the skies. You can see the SCV is going to come forwards and start repairing the planetary fortress. Locust being picked away at, and that planetary is going to go down, so the planetary falls. Thor still pushing over, the roaches and Ravagers still being picked off. Pushing all the way down to the bottom side here. A couple more of Vals dropping in. Extractor gets picked off, Baneling Nest going down as well. And up 50 workers, Maru is just looking absolutely fantastic. A couple more throws of Vals as the Thors still just kind of taking some damage here and there. Here we go, the Locust flying in again. On the top side, Roach Ravager will push and pick off another couple of tanks. The Thor's going down too, but I mean, okay, you know, you're taking good fights still, soO, here and there, but eventually Maru's going to break this down. He's just rallying units across the map right now. He's not even being cautious. He's not even putting any finesse on this. He is just rallying units across and just letting them kind of A-move into soO, because that's all he needs to do to clean this out again. He took a lot of leads in this game, and he will clean up this game right now. Maru takes game number 1 of this best of 5. Goes up in the series 1-0. Just double checking my setup, and it looks like we're good. As in the bottom right hand side, our blue Zerg player needs to try and find an answer to this mech play. It is soO. Would have a real good fight, but I know it's really tough to find an answer against mech. I know Swarm Hosts definitely have potential, but the way he used the Swarm Hosts here, first of all, it felt like they came up so late. Secondly, the Swarm Hosts, you know, first they felt like they came up late, then he's just walking them around the map. There wasn't even Nidus networks. So what did he, you know, he just never felt like he got into good positions. He never caught Maru out of position with the Swarm Hosts. And I said at some point during the cast, it feels like every 45 seconds he's killing maybe a tank and a Hellbat. You know, how long does it take for those Swarm Hosts to find value there? Well, then he lost 10 Swarm Hosts before he definitely found value out of them, and then he had to build a few more, and just never really got stabilized in that first game in terms of his mid-game plan. And I think a lot of that just comes back to the fact that, you know, initially he lost 16 drones, and then he decided to go quite aggressive with Corruptor Roach Ravager on that third base, and yes, he lifted it up, he killed about 5 SCVs, but it's that combination of losing drones, then deciding to be aggressive, it all adds up into then later on you don't have a proper response. Maru, our red Terran on the top left-hand side. Game 2 of this series. So going into our second map here. See what will happen as we have got soO making his way with the Overlord over to the left-hand side. Reaper dropping down from Maru in the main base, so getting that set up ready to roll. And the command center dropping in from Maru in the natural. So getting this all set and ready. As the drone of soO will move its way up towards the third base. And perhaps may get ready for the hatchery here. Just came in on the notifications. Montian has just dropped the $100 donation, which he did the other day as well when we were casting WESG. Can we get some love in the chat for Montian for this ridiculous donation? Montian, buddy, if you let me know, if you remind me on when you're here later, I'll get you up on the WardiTV. We've got special decorations for $100 donations, so I'll get you one of those later on when we've got the webcam allowed to be turned on and stuff. Or maybe after the series if you're still around. Anyways, right now this Reaper getting pushed around a little bit. Queen's able to push out some damage. So Reaper out towards the upper left. Couple of things going in on the command center. GC Starport is on the way down in the main base. starts for the moment here. So getting that link speed up and rolling. A few extra drones on the way down. Queen on the way on the natural expansion. The third hatchery dropping as well, so a lot of build up for the moment as we get into this. Game number 2. He's going for the starport again, which means that we're probably going to be seeing probably battle cruisers, right? Maru's obviously shown us that it worked, and he obviously likes to keep on showing us the mech play at the moment. Two Hellions and the Reaper down to the bottom right. As that Roach Rowan drops into the back of the natural, so setting that up. Fusion core in the natural here too. I mean, it's a nice scout from soO though, right? You get to see the fusion core right away, so full information as to how Maru is opening in this game, so now you immediately at least know what you're going to have to deal with here. The 4 Hellions and the Reaper heading over to this right-hand side. We're going to maybe try and run by into this mineral line. There's a good few drones up for grabs here, right? So there you go, straight in for 3, and going to come across for 3 more. 6 workers just like that, thank you very much. And you fancy a couple more on top of that, make that 9, 10, 11. This is even worse than the last game, because this is going to be, what, 12, 13, 15, still rising. 17 workers killed with the first 4 Hellions. And because you do it with the first 4 Hellions, and you do it at 445, that damage is so much more influential than killing like 16 a couple minutes on from now, right? Which is kind of what happened in the previous match. So you thought soO was in trouble in the last game, he's in so much trouble in this one. He needs to do this with the Ling Roach. He needs to get aggressive, and he needs to go across the map. His command center building, supply depot dropping down. Circle is up to the top as we do see a few extra Ravagers. Just morphing in on the center, and just going to see a Zergling picked off. I mean, obviously getting ready to push this at the front. Hellions around the top, 2 extra factories dropping down. Roach Ravager on the left side as the Hellions over to the right, and again more Queens through the middle. We're going to see a couple more Corrosive Biles. Going to drop in here, and we do see the Marine getting picked off, and that's going to open up this game a little bit. The Hellions go across the BC teleport too, so this is more of a base trade for Maru than anything else here. He's going to be able to kill all the drones, so soO's not going to have any income. Can he get another BC out is the question. I don't think so. Maru's building just Hellions at the moment. He's going to lose pretty much all of his SCVs. More of these Hellions continue to fight. More and more Lings going down. A lot of Roach Ravager in the main. Continue to pick off, obviously. Maru's down to 9 workers. The problem is, so soO's on 5 workers. If he loses his last few drones, Maru can't lose the game, because then he can at the very least always force a draw. Where is soO's last 4 drones, actually? They're running up to the top side. Well, they don't have enough money for a hatchery, so actually all Maru has to do is kill the hatcheries here, and he can absolutely force a draw. Queens? Where are those queens, actually? Where are they at? There's 5 of them, but they're across the map, so they came across the map for attack. BC continuing to fight down this hatchery here. Hellions around the top side, and there's going to be that hatchery picked off. Roach Rowan may be in some trouble as well. Ling Roach Ravager army is still just picking away, right? But then you can never get rid of this. All you have to do as Maru is, again, you can kill off these hatcheries, you force a draw guaranteed. Well, you kill off the drone, last drone, draw's going to be forced. As long as Maru remembers he can float his buildings, unlike he was able to do in the WESG Global Finals 3rd place match. He forgot then, it seems like he's remembering right now at the very least. Obviously Maru can still mine, so another hatchery going down. I was just going to see the couple factories building up a few more Hellions. I mean, anything to just help out. Maru had money, so why not? He's going to land a CC over this right side as well. He's actually just got CCs all over the place, right? So the problem is, one battlecruiser versus the Queens is the question. The Queens actually used a lot of transfuse energy on the drone. There's just so many transfusions. There's no way these 5 Queens lose this fight, right? Looks as though this hatchery will drop down in a moment or two. Well, you can transfuse the hatchery. Obviously, you don't have a single drone to put on the hatchery, right? So you're in a little bit of trouble there. This VC takes a lot of damage in the process, and obviously the queens can transfuse forever. And this is why it might be a draw, because obviously Maru can't really... Maru doesn't lose because he can fly the buildings around. So soO can't win. But if soO can stop units building, there's absolutely potential. I like this investment in towards the Cyclones and Magfield. This is the problem. Maru can just keep hiding buildings around, and soO has to figure it out. Maru's going to lose this command center maybe, but he still has this one, so he can even drop more mules over here. Maru had quite a bit of gas. Wouldn't be surprised to see him take these refineries here. Get that set up as well. Battle Cruiser trying to pick up a couple more lanes to make the job of the Cyclones easier. He got a Ravager kill as well, so yeah, I think this is almost unlosable for Maru, because now he's getting Cyclones up as well. I think he just has too much, right? And, you know, he's mining. soO just doesn't have enough units to be in all the places to deny Maru's bases and Maru's building and all the rest of it, right? So I think that's probably the problem here, if nothing else. soO's just bleeding off units. The Cyclones are going to get the lock-ons. The Ravagers will die. So now it's only Roaches, and the Ravagers die without even much else happening. soO knows it. GG's. Maru is going to take this, and it's going to be a 2-0 lead in this qualifying match. Over there. Thank you so much for that sub. Much appreciated. We're approaching 500 subs again, which is awesome, by the way, on the stream, guys. So yeah, if you've got a Twitch Prime hanging around, you want to support the stream, it goes a long, long way. But for now, it's game number 3. Let's kick this off and see what happens in the top left-hand side. Our red Terran is Maru. Up against the blue Zerg in the bottom right-hand side, soO. Game 3 of the series. And this is what it will come down to. soO has to win 3 in a row. I mean, just in case it wasn't already tough enough. Now you have to send, now you have to try and win 3 in a row. That's kind of crazy. That's not easily done. As we kick this off, a couple of drones on the way out. Hatchery dropping down. What do you do as soO? I mean, both games, I would say, I mean, obviously, maybe especially in that second game, the Hellions getting in, dealing so much damage initially somewhat forces the all-in. I think he was ready to be aggressive anyways, but both games you've got to look at this and say, well, I've just got to improve my defense against Hellions, because those Hellions are sneaking in, and those Hellions are killing a bunch of workers, and that's putting me into bad spots, no matter what my intentions were. And that's kind of the root of the problem. You stop those earlier Hellions, and already the rest of the game is so much easier. As you just have the Overlord or 2 moving around. SCVs will scout here from Maru, so checking for a potential pool first, which it is not. So it's going to be a hatch, gas, and pool opener as we get this set up. Hatchery does drop down. Finish up on the natural there. Command center building from Maru. And the natural as well, so getting that ready to roll. Now our orbital producing a couple more SCVs. So just very standard stuff, right? Nothing to shout about. Nightshade, a nice macro-focused map. A lot of different kind of pathways and ledges. And the high ground in the middle is quite interesting as well. Lots of ups and downs, so there's a lot to be figured out still on this map. These maps still fairly new to the map pool. Just joined in the last week or so. There's still a lot to be figured out there. As our link speed starts up from soO, so no real surprises. As the third hatchery drops down, Reaper gets the scout in it. Maru is aware of the early moments of this game and what's happening. Just going to be seeing Starport. Just going to drop down on the main base, so just going to be setting that up, getting that rolling. Our link speed starts from soO in the main base, so getting that ready to roll. And again, a couple more Hellions on the way out, so a lot of build up here at the moment. Just going to see the Reaper out in the middle too, so that's hanging around, and yeah. So far, so good as our Hellions move their way to the lower right-hand side. Fusion Core will start up actually, so now we're just gonna go Battle Cruisers again. You know, I was really excited when the day started. Maru opened 3cc. He was playing Bio as one of those really fun back and forth little games for a little while. Made a bit of a mistake on the lurkers. I was like, oh, that's too bad. But man, it feels like we're really set up for some fun Bio games today. And since then, he's just gone BC mech, BC mech, BC mech. 5 times in a row now, I guess. He's played 3 more maps against Armani, 2 against soO, and now, well, this is number 6. For the 6th time in a row, he just doesn't change his build. I mean, in a way, why change what's already working? No need to get fancy and funky and show off other builds if your opponent can't even handle your first build, right? I mean, I guess when you lose with this build, maybe then you change it up again. Maybe that's his play. He's just going to do this build until he loses. You'd think he gets bored, but I guess when you win thousands and thousands upon, you know, thousands of dollars upon thousands of dollars, I guess it doesn't really get boring, right? No prize pool specifically for this qualifier, but remember, whoever qualifies here has a very good chance of going to the global finals. They are absolutely the favorites going into the APAC regional qualifiers. And from there, you know, you talk about, you know, you move on through. Then you have, like, I mean, from there, it's just like, you know, you're in the global finals. Anything is possible. So, yeah. Why change what isn't broken? This is really tough for soO as well, because if he doesn't win this, he has to play the next round from Paris, and I imagine they will force him to play on the Korean server. So I imagine he's going to have some trouble with that, as we do see it's going to be 7 drones picked off here, make that 10. Again, early game Hellions. It's not as bad as the previous game. It's a little later, which obviously helps too, but 10 drones to start again. Now the BC teleports into the main. That's going to be probably 5 more drones. Depends if he goes for the queen of the drones. He went for 2 drones, and he's already moving away, right? So probably if he didn't miss all the damage on the queen, he would have got 3, could have stuck around for 4. But now he's going to get ones on the 3rd base as well. So this is adding up quite drastically. Suddenly 16 workers killed. So it's 6 from the BC, 10 from the Hellions. And soO is just droning like a madman to try and get back into this. His Spire will begin. Obviously needs to get that Spire up and running so you can go in towards the Corruptors to shut that battle cruiser down. Meanwhile, Spire and the Rotoro are dropping in on the natural expansion. The Hellions from Maru still heading down the bottom right. The battle cruiser's heading back up the left. And you're going to be seeing a couple of extra tech labs dropping down as well. 4 more overlords on the way out. Hellions to the left-hand side, trying to see what they can do. And they're going to be moving down in towards the 3rd base here as well. So trying to see what else is going on as a few more Zerglings getting picked off. A couple of drones will go down, and again, well, a couple of drones down, a couple more continue to drop down as well. Zerglings will be able to clean it up, so cleaned up, wrapped up. BC is still just hanging out in the center. Obviously, second BC up and running. The 2 of them together going to make their way out into the middle of the map now. So Maru's going to keep up this aggression as Yamato Cannon will be kicking in shortly. Then the engineering bay, a couple of missile turrets to help defensively. His factories are building the tanks. And again, here we go. Going to find themselves on a base again, but pretty quickly shut down. That surround is good. Now the BCs fly overhead, and you do see the queens in a lot of trouble from the start here. So already the first queen about to drop down. 2 queens go down there pretty quickly. Yamato's now will line up, and boom, boom, queens go goodbye. Another queen or so still getting picked off as well. So decent damage being done across the board as our infestation pit is about to complete. This BC comes in for another queen kill. And another one. Just doesn't seem to end. 12 swarm hosts building up from soO as well. Now this BC flies in, and I'm just going to go after a couple of drones. Just trying to pick up a little bit of damage here. Queen goes down, second queen. It's going to stay alive, but again, it's just more drone kills, right? And it's exactly what you want to be finding as Maru. Boom, you find an overlord as well. soO's already supply blocked. I mean, that's just going to amplify the situation. Has to start 5 overlords at once. Maru's in a worker lead. Maru's in a very good composition. He's building a 4th base unharassed. It just feels like Maru is getting so ahead early on in these games that once he gets ahead, he's just not going anywhere else. So Maru is looking really, really good right now. This game, the swarm hosts are much faster, and I do like that. I feel like if you want to go Swarm Host, you got to get them up faster. I mean, last time we built the Swarm Host, it was 10 minutes in game when they fired their first Locust Wave. They're out already now. They could have fired, they decided not to, they didn't get close enough. I am somewhat surprised by the lack of a Nidus, because even if I know the Nidus has been nerfed a little bit, but it's only going to help maneuver those Swarm Hosts around. I mean, that's the second Swarm Host kill before they even fired because of the Yamato cannons. So Maru really focused on taking those Swarm Hosts out of the equation as much as possible. There's Infernal Pre-Igniter about to finish up, and the Magfield Accelerator upgrade continues to research as well. An extra Ravager here on the side, and this army of soO pushing up into the center. BC's just coming forwards here, and they are going to go and get themselves a couple of Troop Tuners. So those are going to get picked off. See a nice Yamato to fire and pick that Swarm Host off as well. A couple more Troop Tuners getting taken down as well. So far, I mean, again, all together here, feels pretty solid throughout, as we do see the VCs now having to take a bit of a run away. Queens are going to come in chasing. Lions will push forwards, and a few lock-ons. Those Queens are going to take some damage. The Ravagers starting to come in from the bottom side as well, and you have the Locusts making their way up to the top. So those Locusts trying to see what they can do as they start to drop on down here. Quite a few of the Locusts going down, though. I mean, again, there's the corrosive bars as these rocks on the right-hand side getting picked apart. You just see again the BC is able to put out a little bit more hurt, so a little bit more damage being done here. Cyclones pressing around, Roaches, Ravagers taking damage once more. As the Yamatos line up on the Queens. Boom, all the Queens going down. I mean, these BCs just sit here and deal out so much damage, right? He didn't actually in the end build the Corruptors until just now, so maybe that's why the Swarm Hosts are that much faster, but it just means there's not that proper defense against the BCs, and you're absolutely paying for it. Now the Corruptors show up, that BC might not be able to teleport away in time. Oh my god, he's going to scare this Corruptors off with the Cyclones, so he will keep it alive. Actually crazy stuff here from Maru, just playing excellent games of StarCraft 2. I mean, you can't really say it any other way. He is absolutely slaying it right now, as SCVs will be pulled in, battle cruisers will be repaired. Locusts expire up in the sky, and, well, another couple of Cyclones locking on to pick away at these Roaches, so a bit more damage being done. And our army of Maru still pressing into this. A couple more Cyclones lock on again, so doing some extra damage and picking up some units. Again, job very well done. We do have more Ravagers morphing in. A couple of these Swarm Hosts being picked apart as Army will continue to back away here. Locust still flying into this. He's actually going to grab a couple of those siege tanks, so a couple of siege tanks will go down. The Corruptors all getting picked off. Now Locust getting picked away at as well. I mean, it's again just Maru able to really hold this off. And what's soO doing? I mean, he's just stuck on this army again. I don't know where he goes with it. I don't know how he improves it. I mean, Maru's not even sieging up tanks in these fights. That's how ridiculous this is getting. Well, maybe that might come back to bite him. We'll see. He's up 16 workers. I mean, that's also just ridiculous, right? Leaving 16 workers against a Zerg player playing mech. Like, what a ridiculous amount of economy to have to work with. It's been like that way a long time as well. It's not like this has just happened. It's been, you know, we've not seen drones killed for a while. So BC's line up a couple more Yamatos. Queen's going down. soO's just going to type GG. I mean, you can stay in it and you can try and make it work and you can try and find